please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
So those are live visuals from the new Karnataka CM's press conference, which is likely to take place in just a couple of minutes. Let's see whether he does dwell on more deep details with regards to the farm loan waiver and the fact that what exactly the contours might contain, and even the Supreme Court hearing, which is scheduled for 10:30 a.m. tomorrow, and how exactly are they going to make the numbers. So while we await all of those details, I think we can just touch upon the markets, and we'll have Lata in to talk about the possible impact of the farm loan waiver, which has been announced. Remember that this is not the first time that a loan waiver has been announced in Karnataka, and I think we can cut across just in a couple of seconds. No, not as yet at this point, but just to go ahead, Sonia, you're going to say something?
No, just to get some more details in, up to 1 lakh loans taken by farmers in PSU and cooperative banks is the kind of waiver that we are looking at. In fact, I think Lata joining us now to tell us more on the impact that this would have. Lata, of course, on a broad brush, the credit discipline generally is ruined when farm loan waivers are given. But what do you see as the impact this would have?
First up, how constitutional is this? Because this is a government without a majority at this point in time. So unless it is proven, the majority is proven in Parliament, in the Assembly, this does not really have the weight of law. In any case, it cannot do much harm because it takes a very long time for banks to find out the eligible people. It takes like up to 6 months. And they should be farm loans. Very often people take a loan, but it is for a marriage. So, there are all kinds of details and screenings that banks have to do before they give the details. That's the first step. That is this constitutional at all? Before that, if the court rules, for instance, in the second hearing, that, okay, he can stay on, but he can't take any decisions with respect to financial matters or spend the state's treasury till he proves his majority, then this falls anyway. So this is of temporary importance at this point in time, but this is a great lure for staying on in power because other people will want to join. So this could have a big political message. But at the moment, you would be too hasty to give any financial message to it, because I'm very sure constitutionally, this will come up in the Supreme Court hearing, that even if he is allowed to stay till his majority is proven, can he take decisions which have a financial impact on the state, because it is a government at the moment which is a minority government. It has yet to prove its majority. And of course, the more important part is that when you have a loan waiver, it is positive for the banks. The farmers may not have paid, but the government is going to pay in lieu of the farmers. So it tends to be positive, though in the longer run it destroys credit discipline. Initially it's positive. It's very negative for NBFCs because people stop paying all loans without realizing the difference between NBFC and banks. So that's where the axe falls. But maybe you want to cut to our sister channel on the press conference.
ನಾನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೂರನೇ ಬಾರಿಗೆ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಯಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಸ್ವೀಕಾರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ
Okay, well, we're going to get you more details from that particular press conference as well. But otherwise, Lata, just coming back to the conversation, we're talking about an announcement at this point in time. The constitutionality of it is a separate issue. But from the perspective that we're running up to the general elections, we're probably going to hear a lot more of these kind of announcements. And that might be the fear that the markets could have.
That certainly is a fear. I mean, why were we saying that populism will take over in an election year? Because these kinds of announcements are always likely. And if Karnataka has set the ball rolling, it didn't set the ball rolling, it's rolling an already rolling ball. But state after state will try to lure farmers or lure constituencies with this kind of waivers. Extremely unfortunate. At least, it's coming at a time when state-owned banks are already in a pathetic state, and you're trying to make more and more people not pay back their loans. It's extremely negative for credit culture. And I don't think this will add to foreigners' confidence of the country. We are nowhere near fiscal discipline. The state plus central deficit is still running over 6%, well over 6%. And comparable countries with BBB- rating like ours have, you know, much lower. They range between 2 and 4% fiscal deficit. We have lots to catch up. It is, you know, rating agencies turn a blind eye to this only because growth is so good that, you know, none of them can boast of 7% plus growth. So it is forgiven. But this is negative. As you can see already, you're seeing banking stocks not in good health. But even the intraday minor gains are being given up. Canara Bank, one of the important banks over there, Corporation Bank, all these are Karnataka facing banks. But what I want to say is that if this goes through, and that's a big if, because first the political majority has to be proved, the constitutionality of this act has to be held up, and then it takes a good 6-7 months to find out exactly who are the up to 1 lakh farm loans, and then the state government pays the money to the banks, and the banks scratch the names. So it's a long way, but it's extremely negative in terms of sentiment, especially for NBFCs, which are already reeling under high interest rate, under the higher yield scenario. Let's check and see if we can understand what he's saying.
That MLAs will ask their inner voice who this mandate was for, and depending on that they will cast their vote and choose their side. On this occasion, I'd like to say just one thing. Subject 20. Till the trust vote, I don't want to talk about any issue. For all the people of the state, the leaders and the party workers, especially to Sri Narendra Modi and to the National President, Mr. Amit Shah, I am indebted. I express my thanks and gratitude to them.
ಈ ನಾಡಿನ ರೈತ ಸಮೂಹಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಭರವಸೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ. ನಾನು ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ
the moment I became chief minister, for 1 lakh farmers, we've decided to waive off farm loans.
ಸಹಕಾರಿ ಸಂಘದ ರೈತರ 1 ಲಕ್ಷದವರೆಗೆ ಸಾಲ ಮನ್ನಾ.
This is for farmers as well as for cooperative farm loans.
1 ಲಕ್ಷದವರೆಗೆ ರೈತರ
for about 1 lakh farmers.
ಈ ವಿಷಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ
this issue was decided today.
Chief Secretary ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ.
I've said this to the Chief Secretary.
ಅಂಕಿಅಂಶಗಳನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನೋಡಿ.
And the important points will be looked at.
ನಾಳೆ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ.
It will be finalized by today or tomorrow morning.
ಭರವಸೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇನೆ ರೈತ ಸಮುದಾಯಕ್ಕೆ.
This is a promise I had made to the farmer community.
ನನ್ನ ಭರವಸೆಯನ್ನು ಈಡೇರಿಸ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾಡಿನ ರೈತ ಸಮುದಾಯಕ್ಕೆ.
This is the promise I had made to the farmer community,
ಭರವಸೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ.
And I'm delivering on that promise now.
Firstly, I convey my regards and wishes to 6.5 crore people of Karnataka, farmers, SC, ST and OBCs who have supported to the bill to BJP and me to achieve these goals of occupying the Chief Minister's post for the 3rd time to develop Karnataka. Once again, I congratulate the people of this on this occasion of me achieve in goal of installing a people's government. And on the occasion also the Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji and Party Chief Amit Shah ji. However, I regret that the Congress and JDS have formed a unholy alliance after the election, though people have outrightly rejected both these parties. I seek the support of all the 224 legislatures as I am. As the issue of gaining confidence of the House is concerned.
Okay, so that's BS Yeddyurappa making that announcement with respect to farm loan waivers for 1 lakh farmers. This will be for both farmers and cooperative loan holders. But as we were talking about it earlier, they don't have the political majority to execute all this just yet. So I think that would be a bit of a,
Initially, we were told it is 1 lakh rupees. Now he says 1 lakh farmers. So what is the cutoff amount? I think this will require a lot more discussion. At the moment, it looks more like a political announcement and not an executive action. I don't think it can be notified because, or we have to look at the notification and then only we will be able to react. 1 lakh farmers doesn't look like a great deal. But 1 lakh amount and that all farmers under that would be a lot more is my guess. So we'll have to really wait and see what the, if it is 1 lakh farmers and if it is from the smallest of loans, then it's more likely to fall on the cooperatives than on listed banks. But let's wait and see how things are. There's no taking away from the fact that it has ruined the credit culture, such announcements, and NBFCs will be that much the worse for it because people will not repay. Assuming that their loans are also excused.
So maybe this is just optically, as of now, positioning themselves as though they are fulfilling the, manifesto promise that they had put out earlier. Okay, we'll keep tracking that minute by minute. But for now, let's get back to our own markets because the market is actually doing
not
okay. It's
subdued.
It's not reacted. Yeah, I mean, it was down about 0.2%. It's still down. Ashwini Gujral joins us back. Ashwini, there are a lot of headwinds that this market is facing right now. Politics is one. The other, of course, are the global cues and the impact it's had.
But we do have Shireen with us to put all of this into context with regards to this loan waiver which has come through from Karnataka. Shireen?
Well, this was a promise that the BJP had made in its manifesto, so there is nothing surprising or unexpected about the decision that has been taken by the cabinet of Karnataka. In fact, the BJP promised this farm loan waiver of up to 1 lakh rupees, and Yeddyurappa, as well as the BJP leadership in the run-up to the elections, had very categorically stated that this will be done within the first 100 days of the government. Now, the party manifesto had very clearly stated that they would offer a loan waiver of up to 1 lakh rupees from both nationalized as well as cooperative banks if they were voted to power. In fact, similar promises were made by the JDS as well as the Congress party. So I don't believe that there is anything surprising or unexpected about this development. And remember that Karnataka has seen a fair amount of rural distress. It has been drought-prone, and hence there has been a fair amount of agriculture distress, which is why if you looked at the manifestos of any of these parties, there has been a significant focus on the agriculture sector, on upping spending, on irrigation, etc. It's interesting that this decision has been announced on the day that Mr. Yeddyurappa has been sworn in, even as we await to hear from the Supreme Court for its final order on what the court decides to say as far as Mr. Yeddyurappa's swearing in itself is concerned. So interesting developments. The BJP also not wanting to take any chances, and this is a first off the bat. This, of course, sentimentally will be a big positive. And this was a promise made in the manifesto, so that is what the BJP has decided to go with. It creates the right kind of optics, and that's the decision that the BJP has now decided to go with as the first decision of the Yeddyurappa government post-swearing in.
Oh, absolutely, Shireen. Thanks for that. In fact, brokerages have written in the past about the impact that this would have on the credit behavior. Kotak has written that in its study of previous loan waivers, it does not conclusively give any evidence of deterioration in credit behavior of borrowers or a slowdown in growth. However, they do say that the risk-reward framework has deteriorated in the priority sector lending portfolio because waivers are now becoming a common phenomenon in elections. So let's see. For now, we're not seeing any major reaction in the PSU banks. But getting back to commodities, we have Navneet Damani of Motilal Oswal Commodities who joins in with some strategies. Manisha, over to you.
Well, absolutely. Just coming back to that farm loan waiver thing, from the 1st of June, you have farmers from many of these states actually coming by and protesting yet again because they want some more farm loan waivers and unconditionally similarly at that. So, that is something that's going to be as a developing story. But when talking about the all-time high food grain prices, the government yesterday in that report also said that this has happened because of the near normal monsoon and also because of the various strategies that the government actually has put forth, whether it really has been about increase in MSP, import duties being hiked, exports allowed, etc. So plenty has been done, but even after that, we do not have very satisfied farmer community there, and the protests pretty much go on. But Navneet Damani, as promised, is with us. Navneet, hi. What is your first reaction really when it comes to the government releasing its third advanced estimate numbers? We are looking at higher crops yet again. What impact of that would you see on prices?
Well, Manisha, we have seen last year a record production coming in, and this year also expectation of record production. Already most of the agri commodities are trading at MSP or well below MSP, so this is not going to be another good year for the farmer community. Farm loan waiver has been the flavor of the season, and most of the farmers across India have been having some kind of protest and have succeeded to a large extent getting it done. So this is going to be the phenomena for next year also, as being an election year. It could be a phase that you might see some more farm loan waiver coming into picture and agri commodity prices still being under pressure.
With many more states actually going in for election, we might hear on all of that. But before we let you go, Navneet, what is your sense now on the crude oil prices? As we inch higher, make higher highs, are you still a buyer at these levels?
Well, we've seen about 20% straight rally year to date for crude oil prices, and these levels are actually factoring a lot of positive news, and most of the geopolitical tensions which are around have been factored in. 80 is a psychological level for Brent, and sustaining about it could be a little difficult and probably could take crude to a newer territory altogether. I would like to sell around these levels on the MCX around 48.70, 48.90 levels, with small stop losses targeting 47.90 and 47.50 on the downside.